Welcome to Digital Report channel, one place destination for the latest news and analysis, as well as expert opinion on all key issues. Without any delay, let's get started with today's video, Sri Lanka crisis. Sri Lanka is a small island country located off the southern coast of India. It is surrounded by Indian Ocean, bounded by a ring of fertile coastal plains, hills and mountains in the interior, and lies in the vicinity of India and the Maldives. Sri Lanka has been a popular place of attraction for foreign travelers, and it is the world's fourth largest producer of tea. Sri Lankan tea is celebrated to be the finest in the world with its unique flavor, fragrance and freshness. The Sri Lankan economy is mainly dependent on tourism and the tea industry. Once a thriving economy is now facing an uncertain future because of political and economic crisis. While the world watches Russia-Ukraine conflict, Sri Lanka is undergoing an economic war struggle. It's not a war fought with guns. It's a fight for survival. It's a war for fundamental human essentials like food, water, and medical supplies. Now, let's see how Sri Lanka ended up in this situation. The current economic meltdown did not come as a surprise. Years of mismanagement fueled by several external shocks and Rajapaksa's refusal to seek assistance from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has spiraled Lankans into this crisis. Everything that could go wrong with the economy has gone wrong. A devalued currency, an ongoing fiscal and current account deficit, hyperinflation, and a huge sovereign debt make Sri Lanka unsustainable. As soon as civil war ended in 2009, then President Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa took out massive foreign loans to pay for the war expenses and, more importantly, to fund flashy infrastructure projects to attract tourists and reward his loyalists. In a vicious cycle, the government had to turn to foreign lenders such as the Chinese to help service already existing debt because they had limited foreign reserves. Instead of focusing on economic reform to increase the foreign reserves, Mr. Rajapaksa cut taxes to shore up political support during 2019 election. Months later, Sri Lanka's lucrative tourism industry was hit by COVID-19 pandemic, which destroyed much of country's revenue. To make matters worse, Mr. Rajapaksa decided to ban chemical fertilizers to make Sri Lankan farming all organic, a move that devastated Sri Lanka's main export crop, tea. Food insecurity has worsened because of the fertilizer ban and global grain shortages caused by the war in Ukraine. According to official data, food inflation reached 80.1% in June, while transport costs rose 128%. With soaring food prices, 70% of households are now reporting reduced food consumption, UNICEF said in a statement earlier this month. From 2020 onwards, credit rating agencies downgraded Sri Lanka's credit rating due to its inability to repay large foreign debts, eventually locking the country out of international financial markets. A series of missteps by the government led to the collapse of a once vibrant and economically promising South Asian nation. Mr. Rajapaksa's government initially avoided talks with the IMF despite rapidly deteriorating economic conditions. It resisted action for months, hoping that tourism would rebound and remittance would increase. As the crisis grew, the government sought aid from regional superpowers such as India and China, who want to gain influence over the strategically located island. India has offered over $3.5 billion in support so far this year to help pay for vital supplies. Beijing has agreed to provide Sri Lanka with $4 billion in aid at some point, but negotiations are still in progress, according to reports. As a result of severe economic hardships marked by blackouts, fuel shortages, cooking oil shortages, and food shortages, protesters have been calling for the resignation of Rajapaksa's government since March 2022. After defaulting on its foreign debt, the country now faces a fuel shortage and social unrest. Angry protesters stormed the presidential house and set it on fire. Once considered a war hero, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa fled the country after being forced to resign, paving the way for Ranil Wickremesinghe to be elected as president. After months of mass protests, Sri Lanka's new government must let the country out of its economic collapse and restore order. To meet the basic needs of its 22 million people who have been suffering long queues, worsening shortages and power cuts, the island needs around $5 billion in the next 6 months. The current government is holding talks with the International Monetary Fund and other foreign countries on financial aid to tide over the current economic crisis. Hopefully, the new government will take this as an opportunity to learn from past mistakes and take the country in the right direction. Thank you for being with us till the end. Show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribe to our channel. Let us know what you want to hear from us next in the comment section. Take care.